Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
I think it's broadcasting again, theoretically.
Crap.
Well, you've got a bit of time. According to that particular page, it said we have a minute 4 left. But now I hit refresh on this page, and we're live on YouTube.
We're live on YouTube right now?
Yeah. So we already have a queue of questions.
Is anybody watching?
Well, I'd imagine people are watching, and as soon as I post it here on Google+.
Do we have a way to see how many people are watching, or do we only see comments?
No, at this point in time, the way YouTube's handling it, if you head over to the link that I posted on...
which is youtube.com/some gibberish?
Yeah, that's the URL. I posted it on Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, if anybody's checking that, and then Google+. And that seems to be the easiest way to find out that we're doing something live, because right now, our primary channel page does not say that we're doing anything live. But we do have a handful of questions already to be, they were asked, so they're ready to be answered. Someone was asking when we're going to announce the winners of the GoFlex, and I think we've got thousands of people who have commented on that. So
is it thousands?
Yeah,
now?
I think so. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Well, this Friday would be a good day to Friday, something to look forward to.
So in 3 days.
Yeah, just from the time of this recording.
Oh yeah.
And we'll pull it out there so that we put our name is on the line. You know, if we don't do it on Friday, then you guys can hold us accountable.
26?
Yes. What? Okay, Jake, from R. McCluskey.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever used a 3D printer before?
I have, yes.
Breeze?
My friend Bree Pettis, who is one of the founders of MakerBot Industries. I have used his MakerBot printer, and it's pretty awesome.
I had, there we go.
Do you have something that's printed in a 3D printer?
I have something that was printed on a 3D printer. This was printed on that MakerBot printer. Pardon me, just a second, I'm getting a live preview there. This is something, and I apologize, the light's not perfect, and we're going to be out of focus, but hopefully that G will show up just a bit in the light.
Is that the,
if I knock over your wine glass, Jake, I apologize.
Is that the coin of the realm?
I'm not sure. But it's plastic, a hard plastic, and this was done on a 3D printer, open source all the way through, which was kind of nice. So yeah, I have used a 3D printer, I guess vicariously.
Yeah.
Never built my own or anything.
I haven't built a MakerBot. I keep thinking I'm going to order one, and then I think I'll probably do nothing but print stuff out of plastic.
Someone is asking, is that another boxed wine? So
it is. It is another boxed wine. It's a very tasty boxed wine. You want to
pull the boxed wine there? Or as we
Chris,
like to call this...
Chris has promised he's going to shotgun this if we get to 10,000 simultaneous viewers.
No. You need a refresh, Jake?
Sure.
All right. We've got another question, and that was posted earlier, and I caught it. What do you think the future of Lego, or the next big thing of Lego, is going to be? Let me go ahead and move the wine out of the way. Probably be.
There's really nowhere for me to put my wine out of the way except for over there.
You set it there.
No, that'll be like more in the shot.
Great.
Like it'll be even bigger.
Can you still reach it?
I can still reach it.
Probably should have thought of this before doing the video, right? So anyway, well, they're used to me. As long as I don't reach for that when I'm done with my rant. The future of Lego, since the content we're doing tonight is geek community in general, this Lego is certainly a good part of it. We of course have the Brick Tricks channel on YouTube as a part of our community. I think the way that Lego has been going in really recent years, they're skewing more towards their community. I mean, their community is so, I guess, passionate with what they do that I believe they're going to turn more and more of the models that people can build over to communities.
So like I could design a model for you to build?
Right. So you could design the model, much like you can do with I think it's Designed by Me. That's how I did the Chris Perillo home office. Someone else had done it, and then I purchased the bricks and built it, and I was happy with that. And I think that's the way they're going to go. So instead of waiting for Lego to build something that you want them to build, like someone did the other day, someone built an Arrested Development set. Like with the minifigs.
Like the entire set?
Well, not the entire set, but the house and the truck. And,
oh, wow.
No, it was really done very, very well. And imagine being able to buy that in some official capacity in an easy way. So instead of waiting for Lego to do something, just let Lego make the bricks and let the community build the models. And I think that is the next big thing. And that's really, few companies can boast that. I mean, what other company can you think about that makes something that other people can build something with? I mean, think about it like a software SDK. You know, you've got
Microsoft Visual Studio.
Okay, exactly. So there you go. So you give them the components and then let people build things from there, and I think that's the next big thing.
Or the iOS developer kit.
Okay, that's another one. Another question that was asked in a similar capacity: someone? I'm sorry, I don't have the username in front of me right now since they were asked as we were queuing the comments up. And you can comment live while the video's being recorded live. Just that after it's recorded, you have to watch the whole thing over again, which may not be as exciting.
And after it's recorded, you can't comment live.
No, you can't. Comment now if you want to control the direction of this video to a certain degree. Someone asked, do you think that Lego is going to lose money with all these 3D printing abilities that you could create your own bricks that can interlock with Lego bricks?
I don't think that's practical.
Today, I don't think it's very practical at all. I mean, there's a certain quality that you do get with a Lego plastic that you may not get from another brick. Not to say that they're any, I guess, any less useful, any less fun. You can certainly interlock them, but I'm still pretty happy with the way Lego does things.
Well, and kind of 3D printing is sort of a different process than building with Legos anyway, because really...
With Lego, by the way. Lego is the plural.
I know.
Anyway, so the design, go ahead.
But like a 3D printer, the design process is done in like a CAD type program, or I'm trying to think of the open source program that everybody uses. It's Google SketchUp. And so that's the design component of the process, and then you print out an entire thing. You don't print out like little pieces of the thing that you then have to put together. Right. I mean, I suppose you could, but
there are people who do make their own bricks at home. They absolutely do. But at the point that you're doing it, are you really saving any money than you would just by buying a kit or a brick in the store? Question from PB Techno. Is Windows XP dead or still going? I think Microsoft said that, really, for real this time, next year. That's it. It's not going to live on any further than that. We're pretty sure this time it's not going to happen again, maybe.
But it's not like it's going to stop working on your computer if you still use it. So it's not dead.
Do you still use Windows XP?
I think I probably have a machine that has XP installed on it, but no.
Do you really use XP? I would have said you stick with XP during the Vista years, but 7 is really good enough, and I think 8 will hopefully
we'll see.
Do better. Yeah, I'd say we'll see. We've got a phone call here. Apparently you're not familiar with how YouTube works. What? Oh, they said scroll up to see. Oh, I like your mom, Mr. Geek Gnome says.
That's who called?
Apparently.
Nice.
Moving on. What are your predictions for the iPhone 5? I hate giving predictions. I hate it. I really do dislike...
It's going to come out. That's my prediction.
I believe that it's going to have phone capabilities. And a camera, I'm sure, is also going to be...
Apps? Will it have apps?
It will likely have apps. That's all we know. No one can speculate. Seriously. I mean, you may have insider information. Look at all the information that came out before the iPhone 4 shipped. How much of it actually came true?
This is what the iPhone 5 looks like, by the way.
It's a very ugly phone. Great looking camera, but an ugly phone, really. That particular, if that was the prototype. This is, again, one of the reasons why I do not like jumping on, and I don't lose respect for people who spread rumors, but I tend to view their information as less valid when they're delivering information that's not even third hand. I mean, it's a rumor, and talking about rumors just may get you excited. Oh, the iPhone is going to have 7 cameras, and then it only ships with 2, and everyone's disappointed because it doesn't have 7 based on a rumor. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I don't like speculating. I know what I would like it to have, and I think that's a different question than predictions. I would like to see, honestly, optical image stabilization. Do you think it's possible?
No, they're not going to do it. You know what I would like to see? No matter how you hold the phone to record a video, it records in landscape mode.
Yes, I would like to see. In fact, I think I've mentioned that before as well. I would agree.
That is the number one feature flaw of pretty much all phones that record video.
Let's see here. When do you think, and this is a question asked by My Apple Zone, when do you think SSDs will become cost-effective for the average consumer?
Aren't they now?
I think they are now. That's what my answer is going to be. You got a trade-off, right? Capacity or speed. And 9 times out of 10, I'm always going to say speed. You the same way?
Unless I'm sending you stuff in Dropbox.
Right, unless you're dealing with large files, in which case,
Well, you can have an external drive, and I mean, most of the time you do not need terabytes of files.
No, I mean, I've been able to get along just fine with a couple of my computers that have SSDs. with 128 gigs. Because honestly, I'm not storing a lot of files locally.
Yeah.
I'm putting them online, or I'm doing things mostly online. They're not content production machines.
Everything goes out to the cloud. You don't really need all of that stuff stored locally. And by the cloud, I mean generically, the cloud could be a machine that's in your closet that is locally providing you storage.
Like a NAS device or something like that. So, yeah, I think they are affordable enough for consumers. They are certainly going to run a bit more if you compare them. You can't compare size to size, because of course at this point in time an HDD is going to beat out an SSD in terms of price for price per capacity.
Price per gigabyte.
Thank you.
Usually what they
price per gigabyte. You can't compare it that way. And conversely, I think you're going to find yourself happier with an SSD. And I've been saying this since my first SSD installation when Samsung sent me the review unit to put in the Mac.
Yeah.
Very, very happy with it. It's very difficult to use anything that has a hard drive anymore. So I say spend the money. Go for the speed every single time. Let's see here. Nice tat, Jake, says the Tech Guru 246. So
Thanks.
Do you want to show off the tat there?
I don't really need to show off the tat.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. Have you heard of the iPad 3 coming out in 2012? Yes. Do you think Nintendo is going to die in the next few years?
Do you think it's going to take that long? No.
What, Nintendo?
I think Nintendo might be an interesting acquisition target for somebody, but that's just speculation.
Really? Who would you imagine Nintendo could be purchased by?
Well, you know who? Actually, I think the most interesting marriage would be Apple and Nintendo, but
yeah.
it's probably unlikely.
Well, I mentioned this in the live question and answer last night. So there was talk about speculation. Think about the possibility of Nintendo porting most of their popular games over to iOS, Android, and potentially Windows Phone, or that mobile operating system from Microsoft, whatever they're going to call it today. I think that's a huge possibility to give them revenue where they otherwise wouldn't have seen it. And honestly, I think I've seen people have both, let's say, iPhones and DSs. Yeah. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think Nintendo would be incredibly smart to put, let's say, the Mario franchise, just for one franchise that Nintendo owns, onto iOS and find themselves making probably more money than they're making today. Think about that. So yeah, it's been interesting. Of course you can. Some Nasha Tube says, of course you can speculate. I hate speculation. I really do, because you think about things that get you excited and then they don't come true. Let's see here. What do you think about, or do you know anything about the HP touchpad's price being dropped in the UK?
It's pretty much been dropped everywhere.
At this point, yes. Not over the weekend so much. It took the UK a bit of time to catch up. Do you think we will ever have interactive holographic rooms or environments, holodeck-esque style? Asks W Supermain 2.
I certainly hope so.
I hope so too. Did you see I posted this in my Google Plus profile.
I can't keep up with the stuff you post in your Google Plus.
Whatever, dude. An augmented reality app that relies on the iPad and glasses, and the guy was playing around with like a helicopter and taking it apart and moving it around and shifting it. It was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, augmented reality I think is the closest thing we would have to like a holodeck at this point in time.
Well, I mean, eventually we're getting to small screens that you can watch 3D with no glasses. And I think that the next obvious extension of that is better, bigger screens with 3D with no glasses, and at that point you're getting close to a holodeck type experience. So it's only one pane, but if you can get that in 360, then you've got the holodeck.
Yeah, pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Will Linux ever be popular? Even though Ultimate Video Dude spelled it knee popular instead of be popular.
Isn't it the most popular operating system, even though it's not used on desktops?
Because it's embedded, or you can embed Linux. Let's see here. Android is pretty much Linux.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Well, the touchbad actually had Linux underneath it.
Right? Which is probably going to make the touchpad easier to port Ubuntu to, even though there's been some effort that's gone forward with that already. It hasn't been fleshed out that anybody can really use it right now. What else? Google Chrome. Chrome OS. Is built on Linux. I think
a whole ton of the internet is powered by Linux. So
it's powered by Linux, and I think Linux will be popular. But in terms of a user experience, Android is a good chance of that happening. I've long believed that Android embedded in devices would be awesome, and I've said this, in fact, in the video last night, the question and answer. I said I love my Google TV for the fact that Android runs very, very well on it.
Well, and technically, depending on how you want to spell things out, Mac OS X is on BSD,
it's a stone's throw from what Linux is. But the thing is that it's very usable. And in order for Linux to succeed, the experience has to match Linux's power. And unfortunately, that's where it falls short in every step of the way. My parents still have issues with consumer technologies that I find easy to use, but they don't find easy to use. It has to be so dead simple. And I think moving away from a local file system or managing programs or applications on as we have been managing them, Linux, Windows, Mac OS X, we're getting there. I mean, if you look at how Android works or how WebOS is continuing to work or iOS, these applications, they're islands unto themselves and easy to manage, easy to work inside once you've launched them, assuming they've been designed well. But there's no cruft surrounding those applications. They're easy to port from one device to another, so long as that device, well, theoretically, is in the same family or the same ecosystem. That, I think, is the future of computing. As much as we as geeks may not like to hear that, I think the future of computing is more Android-esque in the sense of point, tap, click, install, or iOS than has been our traditional understanding of Windows and dealing with file systems and just hierarchies that are impossible to understand. As we move more and more of our experience to the cloud, I think that's becoming more and more of a reality that we have to understand is coming, whether we want it to or not. Good feedback there, Jake.
I got nothing to add beyond that.
Great.
That was you summed it up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was looking over here at the questions.
It's okay. Is it worth building a computer now, or should I just buy an HP, Dell, etc.?
I haven't built a computer in a long time because I just don't see the point. Although, I will say that the most hacking thing that I've done to a computer recently was like rooting the NUC and then jumping through all of the hoops to get it to CyanogenMod, and that was fun.
Right.
And it reminded me of the fun that I had building computers, and I was like, I'm glad I don't do this most of the time.
I think, when was the last
Maybe I'm old.
computer I built? No, honestly, I don't think it has to do with age. I think that it's just as affordable to buy something off the shelf these days as it is to spend the time to build it yourself.
It is.
And it wasn't always that way. It absolutely was not always that way. You could save a large amount of money. Well, now, honestly, I walk into a superstore these days, and not that they are disposable, but I look at a computer and I'm like, God, a couple $100.
Yeah.
And you can get the job done. Whatever not anything that you wanted to do, but
most things.
Most things that most people would want to do. Surf the web, check email.
Even video
basic
editing.
Photo. Well, video editing, think?
Not so much on the really low end stuff. Like I wouldn't use a netbook for video editing. But for any of those $400 to $500 computers that I would consider in the disposable arena that have 8 gigabytes of RAM and they have a slow, gigantic hard drive, you could edit a video with them.
Would you want to? But
you might not want to, but I think you compare that with what I was editing video on 10 years ago, and it blows it away.
So the only scenario where you would want to build your own is the experience. It can be fun. It is a way to learn, about the inner workings of how systems are built at the time that you build them. It's the difference between modding a car and just rent or leasing one or buying one and never tinkering with it. Everyone wants something different, but it's up to you. I would not make up your mind for you. I never would say that, because what's good for me is not necessarily good for you. But I'm in Jake's camp in this capacity. My time is worth more than it would be if I saved even a little bit of money on creating my own computer. I would have spent way more time and not have enjoyed it as much as I would have if I was just trying to get the job done. And quite honestly, I've always been a software junkie, not a hardware junkie. So most of my experience is going to be more on the desktop, or I guess in the operating system, whatever I'm playing with. I'd rather tinker with software than hardware itself.
I used to only build my computers, so
oh really? I didn't know that was pretty much.
I've not laptops obviously, but any desktop system I had for a very long time, I just built them.
912 Doctor Who says, do you find Chrome slower at playing Flash than any other browser? I can't say that's the case, but I know that Chrome will ship with its own edition of Flash.
Yeah.
In some cases, you'll have two versions of Flash installed. You can toggle that in the Chrome plugins setting, which is not something that's surfaced directly from the preferences.
It's certainly slower if you toggle it to not play Flash by default.
Really?
Well, because it doesn't start until you push
okay,
play.
right. Because I have the click to play turned
Yeah.
on, so all my plugins start in a stopped state, other than on certain sites like YouTube, or sites that I frequent regularly enough. I haven't found Chrome running any slower, and I got to tell you, with the recent updates with the dev channel, at least on Mac OS X, UI has been less sluggish than it had been in the past. That has nothing to do with Flash at all. But I think Google still has a bit of optimization to do on every front. Whatever platform the Chrome browser happens to be running on, Google's done a great job at implementing features and iterating consistently. But performance just doesn't seem to be right there for them. That seems to be lacking. They haven't really thought about performance yet, or haven't really accommodated it in ways that they had other anything else. But think about it. Google Chrome it came out of nowhere. I mean, of course, built on WebKit. I love WebKit browsers. I've been using Safari for quite a while. Something that I would certainly still recommend for Mac OS X or Windows users. WebKit, of course, could be run on Linux. To throw that OS in there in case that's something you use. Optimization, at this stage in the game, they're doing better than I think Firefox, or I guess Mozilla did, and certainly better than Internet Explorer has done, over time.
Well, if you look at how long Chrome has been out versus how long IE or Firefox have been out, they're doing a lot more things right at the stage in their development life cycle than either IE or Firefox did at the same time.
What experience, and very rarely do I answer these questions, but what experience did you have when you got hired with Tech TV? Would you say that is what got you to be as popular as you are, says Rye Hansen. This is 72. This, I think, is a misnomer. We were actually doing things that were very Tech TV-esque without video, really. But we were sharing information in much the same way that we do today. Of course, we had different tools back then. But what got me on Tech TV was largely because of everything that we had been doing to that point. I'd been doing Locker Gnome since 1996. Jake started in 1999?
Either 99 or 2000.
Something like that. So Jake was pretty much making sure that Locker Gnome stayed afloat through the help of other team members as well when I was doing Tech TV. And my role was diminished. So everything that got me to Tech TV is everything that's keeping me alive today. Tech TV was great, and I don't doubt that it was a great part of my career, but it was by no stretch the thing that launched me. The thing that launched me was me.
Well, I would say that the combination of the Locker Gnome experience that you had, plus having experience doing a regular radio show gig for quite some time, that gave you experience like having to
improv,
having to interact with no one for like an hour stretch at a time, but that combination of things, I think, is what, if you were looking for a combination of things to put together to try to get to that point, like say you want to be Chris Perlow when you grow up, which I mean I do, but
I don't, and I'm me. So I think the experience I had when I got hired was great. I had fun doing it. I'd certainly welcome the idea of doing something like that again, but that's not what got me popular, so to speak. Let's see here. Do you think if you could install Mac, assumedly this guy means Mac OS X, on all machines, would it overtake Windows? So if they had licensed OS X to run on all machines, would it overtake Windows? I think no.
I think if you had asked that question back when there were Mac clones and Windows was an upstart, the answer would be yes. We would be in a Mac world now. I think now it is highly unlikely just because of the entrenched Windows experience in the enterprise.
Well, it's not just enterprise, which is a large part of Windows business. Windows is designed to work with a variety of computers. Mac OS X, not so much. I mean, yeah, you can create your own Hackintosh, but what makes OS X work well is the fact that it's only running on a limited set of computers. So Apple can decrease its support costs by only, needing to support a specific set of computers. And the fact that there aren't as many Macs running OS 10, assumedly, they can afford to make decisions that I don't think Microsoft could afford to make. This is one of the reasons why Windows XP has refused to die. That's not an issue with Windows so much as it is an issue with the ecosystem. And Microsoft, unfortunately, is caught behind the 8 ball. The tallest nail always gets pounded. I don't think OS 10 could stand to benefit from running on anything other than Macs. That doesn't mean that it's the best operating system in the world. There are things that I like about Windows 7. There are things that I like about OS 10. Linux I've had experience with, but honestly, I can find just about everything that I can in Linux in either Windows or OS 10, so I tend to find myself floating between those two worlds. But that's what you have to understand about Apple's ecosystem is they control it, and that's what makes it a good consumer experience, if you're willing to pay into that.
They make appliances, not... And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean,
it's accurate.
They make a contained experience that is designed to do something really well.
People who compare... it gets frustrating because people who compare Windows to OS 10... Well, you can compare them because they both have web browsers or email clients. Well, to a certain degree, if you download Windows Live Mail. But really, the similarities are disparate. They're two completely different ecosystems. Completely. Windows is designed to run on as many possible configurations as you can possibly think. Mac OS 10 is not. It's the same reason why iOS devices tend to work better from a user experience because Apple can predict the machines that they're running on versus Android devices in the fragmentation. Not to say that Android's weaker because of that, because it's certainly stronger because it can run on a variety.
I don't know. I would say in some ways Android is actually weaker because of that, because my frustration with Android
and
I have an Android phone.
I have to be able to put that caveat in there. So
and I love my Android phone, but I will find that if I go from one device that's running Android to another device that's running Android to another one, that I will be looking for user experience interactions in different places because it's not consistent across devices.
But the fact that you can enable... People will say, well, you can have it on 1,000 different devices. My question is how many of those manufacturers are making money? I'm guessing 1 or 2. So despite having 1,000 devices out there, how many are making money? I mean, yeah, you can have the operating system installed on, 1 billion different configurations. Ultimately, to a company, the only thing that matters is sales. Who's making the sales? Who's making money? So
certainly not Google because they don't sell the operating system.
Google's making money in other ways.
Well, yes.
Google can make money in ways that you can't even imagine they're making money. Let's see here. What's another good one here? East Coast earthquake today interrupted AT&T GSM iPhone service for a bit. Is cloud reliable enough? Says D. Colin Morgan 1. Is cloud reliable enough? I don't know exactly what the connection with the...
I don't think those two things are related.
I don't think they are either.
Because GSM is not the cloud, that's the AT&T phone service. And the cloud means lots of things to lots of people. But, I mean, if you...
I think... let's see if I can think through the logic behind this question. Kind of have to guess. If you had all your data on the cloud, you couldn't get to it if the internet was interrupted. That's I think what he's saying. Is the cloud reliable enough that if the internet goes down, you've lost everything?
That assumes that everything is truly 100% remote, and there isn't some combination of local caching and remote.
Right. So I guess it depends on the app. Is it worth upgrading? He has Mega Geek tutorial says to Firefox 7, or does it crash a lot?
Is there a 7 already? I thought 6 just came out.
6 just came out, but they released a 7.
What?
They're iterating.
I can't even keep up.
No, well, they have to because they're trying to keep up with. Well, Internet
Are they trying to
Explorer's
get up to the
got
version?
10.
Are they trying to get up to the version numbers so that they can match?
Well, Google Chrome is up to 15, I believe, in dev builds at least. I don't know. I think Canary's pretty much in line with that.
Isn't it 11 or 12 that's actually the live build, though?
I think it's...
Or is it 13 now?
I don't know. Either way, it's good to see Firefox consistently releasing this. My suggestion for you is install it. I don't know if it's crashing a lot. I mean, I use it, but I don't use it enough. Sorry, not to interrupt. I think the reason why most web browsers crash are less about the web browsers themselves and more about the plugins and extensions that you install.
Oh yeah, if you install lots of plugins, no matter which browser it is, you're going to get crashes.
So,
and really look for the latest stable build of Firefox, install it, and don't install any more plugins than the ones you actually need.
So yeah, if you're going to go beta, either sandbox it, you run it in a virtual machine, try it, see if it works. I don't know if it crashes a lot. I doubt it would because they're not. I don't think they're making any massive changes. but I again would say, watch what else you're installing. They were intent on blaming Internet Explorer when in fact it was Flash's problem all these years. Internet Explorer Flash, see, that's not an Apple problem. It's an Adobe problem. Let's see here. Gonna scroll on. Chris, how can I make my web hosting service get out there? I have recently invested in my web hosting business, and I barely have any users. Remember, I'm providing free hosting, says Jeff the Computer Geek.
Charge for hosting.
Yeah, I would say, how do you plan on making money by offering something for free?
Charge for hosting. That'd be my advice. Customers are a lot better to work with when they pay you money. Period.
Well, even when, because people complain most about services that are free. You ever notice that?
Yep.
In fact, I would say charge them more.
The more expensive the product that you have, the less people complain.
He is absolutely correct. There's no doubt that fewer people will complain the more they pay. Studies have been shown over and over and over again. This is an absolute fact. The less someone pays, the more they'll complain. In terms of getting your web hosting service out there, okay, that's kind of like saying, how do I get my tech videos out there? The market's saturated. It is beyond saturated. So unless you have existing relationships that you can build upon, that's going to be beyond an uphill battle. I mean, you would need a lot of money. So if you can raise the money, you can get a loan and invest it in ways that are going to gain you more customers. You're gonna have problems, dude. And I good luck. And I think you can pull it off. I'm not trying to dissuade you at all, but when you try to enter a market in a business capacity that's flooded, I mean, this is simple economics. You're gonna have a problem. Supply and demand. I mean, Jake,
I gotta say, just from the concept of hosting, there's no way I would host anything I cared about on free hosting because, who do I call? Like, do I call up and say, "Hey, guy that closed down because you didn't have any money, how are you gonna help me out with my website that's down?"
You have to instill confidence. So you have to answer those questions. Good luck. There are a lot of web hosting companies out there. I've used a lot of web hosting companies out there, and have yet to really be happy with one, honestly.
They all have their flaws.
Yeah, that's. Let's see here. How's the Minecraft server coming along? We're getting these questions. Jake, what do you think?
It'll be here eventually.
Okay, there's the answer. What are your thoughts on United Airlines replacing flight manuals with iPads?
Who cares?
Okay. Chris, check your Twitter for questions, please. Not right now. I can only pay attention to one screen, and right now that's YouTube.
And if you had time to type that in, you had time to type in a question.
Right. You wasted your opportunity. What? Seriously, I didn't even...
Wow.
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
There's Wicket. Wicket's trying to ask a question. Is T3i good camera for a handicap to have? Says Knowles217. So Jake, we've got a full-on review of the T3i that Jake has purchased coming in the YouTube channel. Why don't you give us an idea? What do you think could be good or bad if someone who did not necessarily have the full facilities available to them?
That's hard to say because it would be... it's hard to give advice without knowing, what specific handicap we're talking about.
And this is their words, we're not, yeah.
I'm certainly... it does allow the use of remotes, so if, for instance, you were unable to use your hands, you might be able to use a remote trigger with some other part of your body to be able to actually use the camera.
But you were mentioning that, and I don't know if this is just T3i specific, but there's an app that on the iPad that will allow you to control the camera.
Yeah, it's called DSLR Remote Control HD.
Creative name, yeah.
Very creative naming. And, there's also an iPhone
Is it a Microsoft
version.
product? Because that's pretty accurate.
No, it's some company that makes photo editing software, but it allows you to actually control the camera. You have to have a wireless base or a USB connection to a computer, so really you want the wireless base.
Wireless base.
Or
so
wireless grip,
well, there's the solution. Would it be a good one? If this supports that feature, I'd say the iPad
supports
would be
the feature. I would say that probably one of the either the Nikon or Canon cameras that actually has one of those grips, because this currently doesn't have the grips because it's too new.
Different form factor.
Yeah, and I think there may be one for the T2i, but theoretically, depending on what your handicap is, yes.
Okay. Another question we have here: how long until Facebook's popularity, asks Hayes Hacker 1, starts dying down? So when is Facebook gonna, take a nosedive or just steadily trail off if it isn't already.
Well, we haven't gotten to 50% of the world on Facebook yet, so I would say
We're
we
close.
We're not that close.
We gotta be close.
There's like 7 billion people on the planet. It's not at 3.5 billion. It's not even at 2 billion, I don't think. We got a long ways to go.
1.7 billion, you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's in the 1 billion range,
Okay.
not the 2 billion range.
So what's going to, in your estimation, what would curb their popularity? What would be the pain point?
Well, running out of people on the planet would be a big pain point.
Okay, that's it.
when
that's
everyone,
the only thing that's...
when everyone signs up, you're sort of in trouble. Well, so the thing that we've noticed with every single social network site of the Facebook variety, which I would say that AOL is probably the best example of this. When AOL reached the point where the alternative, which was the open internet, was so much better than AOL, everybody started abandoning AOL. And I think if something comes along that is so much better than Facebook, that it looks more attractive than using Facebook, people will leave.
Pain point.
A pain point. And I don't know what that pain point is.
Well, they just announced today like a variety of new privacy features to make it easier to configure things individually and look at things and configurations and whatnot. I don't know, though, that being said, that I really don't... I don't know what it's going to take. I think it's just going to be a pain point, and we don't know what that is yet. I don't think it's going to be Google Plus necessarily. I don't think it's going to be Twitter. It may be something that we don't even know yet. I don't think it's going to be something like Diaspora. There's not enough of a pain point with Facebook to really get people to leap. I mean, that's what you have to keep in mind. Even if something is better, some people look at Google Plus and say, yeah, it's like Facebook. Why would I switch from Facebook to this? It doesn't make any sense. When it makes sense, people will switch. So what would get me to say, abandon Facebook? Not much. I still have my MySpace account open. If Facebook, just became less interesting, or if I was getting higher engagement in what I wanted to do on another network, that's where I'm going to spend most of my time, which is one of the reasons why I spend most of my time on Google Plus today, because of the higher engagement. It just seems like I'm better connected with other people than I ever could do on Facebook on the fan page. Even if I'm posting the same stuff there, and admittedly I have to toggle off the lockergnome.net feed. Sorry guys, sorry about that. I don't try to annoy people, believe it or not. I don't mean
You don't have to try.
All right, so we have another question. Have you tried Rock Melt? I have, and I think it's interesting, but I think it's about 5 years too late. There's a reason Flock didn't succeed.
Isn't Rock Melt just Chrome with some integrations that you don't really need?
Kind of. I mean, if you love Facebook, Rock Melt's a great browser. But I don't know. I think having Chrome with some extensions is just as good. Open up a huge. Still hadn't switched from Internet Explorer at that point. It was a long time ago. Flock is dead, and it just couldn't keep up. I mean, it's difficult to create a web browser, especially when you have major vendors and major brands. It's a cleaning experience. Google Chrome. That's what Rock Melt is built on top of. I'd be shocked if Rock Melt survives. I really would be. If it even has survived to this point, by the time this video is done processing.
Huh.
Do you feel that replacing your main computer with a portable device is a feasible option in the new future? The Best Mac Tutorials asks. Replacing your main computer with a portable device is feasible. What do you think, Jake?
I think it depends on how you define your main computer. Because
what's your main computer?
I guess my main computer is the Sony Vial that I haul back and forth with me absolutely everywhere I go. I'm not ready to give up a keyboard yet because I type way faster than any other input method I could come up with. And so for things like responding to email, writing long-form content, I don't think that there's any time in the near future where I'm going to see a tablet computer that I'm happy video editing on, because that's just seems unrealistic.
I don't know. I always find myself floating back to, at this point in time, a desktop machine, because I got two screens. I could probably move towards a notebook eventually, or a laptop computer, whatever you want to say, a portable computer. It's just I haven't needed to yet, so why?
Yeah.
I just find myself much happier with...
You'd be better able to answer that question if you left your house frequently enough to need a portable device.
If need be, I could force myself to use a tablet computer. In fact, I've gone as far as to thinking, could I do something where I could live on an Android tablet for a month? Could I do everything I needed to do on a tablet that I'm not used to? just to see how well I could do.
I don't think you could do that.
You don't?
I think you'd last a week.
You think?
Maybe
I wonder if anybody dare me to use
like a Zoom,
an Android. No, come on, dude.
Or a Galaxy.
Get serious.
Galaxy 2 or
a tab.
Tab.
I think I could do it, but it would be a tremendous challenge to replace my main computer, which is currently a desktop machine, because of its power, and specifically because I like screen real estate. I like being able to have many windows open and being able to see things all at the same time. It's easier to work, and they say that productivity is increased the more screen real estate that you have. Ever had a microwave mess with wireless internet connection? When mine is running, the wireless internet in the house cuts out within about 10 feet. The one before this one messed with the cordless phone too, about the same distance, says Hirukaki. So, Jake, wireless internet and microwaves.
I have never actually experienced that. They are on the same 2.4 gigahertz frequency, but I wonder where the router is in relation to where the microwave is that it could be causing a problem. And
channels?
I guess my other question would be, try changing the channel and see if you have the same problem.
The channel on the wireless adapter. You can't really do that with a microwave. Wireless phones, though, don't they have what is it called? DSS, Digital Spread Spectrum, that allows them to frequency hop? Let's see here. Looking for unique questions that haven't been answered either today or the live sessions that we did yesterday. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on the hacker group Anonymous planning on attacking Facebook? Death by Cookies 69.
Is there anybody that they haven't attacked yet other than Facebook? Really?
Well, they've attacked other people, yeah.
Well, no. Is there anyone else that they have not attacked?
Right.
They're running out of people to attack, so Facebook seems like just as good a target as any.
Didn't Facebook come forward and say, yeah, attack us?
I think they may have.
I have no horse in this race. If that's what Anonymous wants to do, have at it. That's nothing I can do about it.
We have no control over it.
No control, no connection whatsoever. My thoughts are, I think anonymity, and I've said this before, anonymity is crucial to, I think, what makes the internet as powerful as it is. What you do with that anonymity, of course, is subject to question. What do you think the top 3 or 5 free cloud storage options are? What is up with free? Why are people afraid to spend money? And I'm frugal. Ask Jake. I'm frugal. I'm bad at frugality.
Are there free cloud storage options that would actually be able to store enough to be worth it?
Dropbox, Box.net, Google Docs. That's cloud storage.
Yeah, but I said enough. Oh. Like 10 gigabytes.
What's enough? Okay.
Well, so Dropbox.
Right.
You can get up to 10 gigabytes if you can refer enough people, right, for free.
Right.
10 gigabytes wouldn't make a dent in the stuff that I back up on a regular basis.
Not you. Let's see here. Any tips for buying a new Mac for not a lot of money?
Break into the Apple Store and steal it. No, I'm kidding.
Buy a used one? Refurb?
That would be not new.
Oh. Buy an almost new Mac for refurb or slightly used? Is it better?
Watch for coupons on coupons.lockergnome.com.
There you go. New Coda Project asks, is it better to invest in an Android tablet or a tablet PC?
Depends on your use case, but in most cases I would say, unless there's some reason that you definitely want a keyboard, go actual tablet.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The tablet features on Windows have always been features on Windows and just like an overlay, and it just creates a haphazard experience.
And granted, Windows 7 has the best touch experience that Windows has had thus far.
And then even that ain't all that great.
Until there's like a tablet PC that is running something more like Windows Mobile Phone 7, I don't think that there's a good Windows tablet experience.
All right, let's see here. I'm looking. Someone, I've already talked about Google Plus at length. You want to give look for another question. I see someone asking your thoughts on Google Plus. Why do you think it's important? What is it? Just a couple other people have been asking about Google Plus, but I've already given my opinion.
Well, so one of the things that I think is important about Google Plus is that in terms of online identity, and I don't mean like the real name versus pseudonym identity, but in terms of associating your identity as in who you are and what you do online with something that could matter from a business perspective, Google Plus is an important place to be because Google has its fingers in so many different pies that you need to participate in Google Plus so that you have a reputation in the Google universe.
Yeah, and everything I've said is pretty much backed up what Jake has said.
Free does not mean no money. It means freedom. In the context of wanting a free cloud storage service, that does not mean freedom.
That was someone else's quote there.
Yeah, but I think that was probably in response to
Right, no, it absolutely was. Spend money sometimes, dude. Like, you just... When someone says, I need something for free, I automatically write them off. I'm like, they're not worth my time. You don't go to work and say, yeah, I'd like to work for you for free. Chris, I meant to ask you this question for a long time, asks XX Arona XX. A lot of people quote YouTube as another Hulu. What are your thoughts on this? Can it be fixed, or is YouTube in trouble for the near future?
Huh?
People quote YouTube as another Hulu. Isn't it like a failure?
I
I don't think Hulu's really a failure per se.
Comparing YouTube and Hulu doesn't even make sense.
Actually, I think YouTube would stand to succeed where Hulu has failed. The audience in general, the world, the community, certainly knows about YouTube. I think what would hurt most is not necessarily YouTube or Hulu. I think the technology is strong. It's the production companies. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Just making sure, because
I had to think for a second, but no,
Right.
I think you're right.
But the production companies effectively hold back, any possibility for, the way that we want to interact with content. They want to limit us from how we interact with content. I don't know if there's a way to fix something, but I don't really see it as broken. I think the two are not mutually exclusive. I could rent something on YouTube, or I could rent something on Hulu, or I could rent something now on Facebook, or Netflix, or my on-demand provider, wherever. It doesn't matter where I get to it. In fact, I say the more, the better, because that should theoretically increase competition. I've already answered that question a billion times. Sorry, I'm not going to answer the same.
There was a question, how do you feel about Apple having more money than U.S. government?
What do you think? How do you feel? Conflicted,
You
emotional?
know, my feeling about that is the government is not in the business of making money, and Apple is in the business of increasing value for its shareholders. So, technically, Apple and all corporations should have, quote unquote, should make more money than the U.S. government.
Chris, should I buy? I saw this scroll by real quick. Is a netbook worth the money, or should I go with a tablet that says Super Ponage 1? I say for netbook or tablet.
It depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, honestly, even then I'd say tablet.
I would probably say it, particularly if it's an iPad.
iPad or even an Android tablet at an affordable price. I don't think you can get a decent Android tablet for anything less than $500. At which point you're having to consider, well, why wouldn't I get an iPad?
Unless you get a Nook.
A Nook, or if you're able to get a hold of an HP touchpad.
Yeah. Well, the touchpad, I would say, it would be a cool device to have. It would be a bit limited in what it can do compared to a netbook because the App Store isn't going to be there.
Where do you think? Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do that one.
You don't want to do where do you think Chris Pirillo will be in 5 or 10 years?
I will be here.
He'll be sitting in another room at a different desk.
No, I'll be at the same desk, but I just won't be doing as much as I'm doing today. That's my goal, to not be doing anything. But then what are you doing now? That wasn't the question, though. What is your favorite Android tablet? Honestly, if it wasn't the HP touchpad because of its price point, I'd probably say the Nook, because it's the price point.
The Nook wins right now at $250, and you can root it. Clear winner.
It's price.
And I overclocked it, so I mean it's as fast as every other thing out there. Okay, so the one downside of that is there's no camera, and having a camera for like chat at least. Would
and
be nice.
You had, for the review that we did, you had an HP touchpad, and then you brought it back.
I did.
You had one.
I did.
Of course, it's still worth
$99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah, I took it back.
See here. Tips for aspiring tech reviewers.
Write a lot. Expect what you write at first to suck, and you'll get better over time.
And don't suck at it. Don't speculate. Don't do the same thing everybody else is doing.
Don't pander to the PR people sending you tips.
Not just tips, just sending
like
crap.
if a product sucks, say that it sucks. I mean, my policy is I try to just not write about stuff that sucks.
Or, this is the most awesome iPhone case I've ever had, and look at this. This is so cool and awesome and cool, and it's the greatest, and whatever, Jake. You understand what I'm saying. You watch reviews all the time. It's the greatest, it's the coolest, it's the best. Is it really?
Don't fanboy. Be honest about your opinions. I mean, certainly if there are things that you like about something, say that you like them. But if there are things that you don't like, also be sure to mention those, because no device is perfect, even if you're an Apple fanboy.
Someone asking, Chris, do you think, this is my Apple zone, do you think Apple will ever overtake Microsoft in market share? No. Ooh, well, it depends.
Market share in what? They overtook them in phones. They overtook them in tablets.
Media, like portable media players or iPods or MP3 players.
They're not going to ever overtake them in game consoles, I don't think.
Let's think about that. Most of the games that I play...
I said consoles very specifically.
This is a console, kind of. You can plug it into something.
That is a casual gaming device.
So since you say instead of consoles...
You're not ever going to play Call of Duty on that.
But imagine if I can do Real Racing 2 and on the iPad and do 1080p on the Apple TV.
Oh, yeah, if you connect it to the TV.
No, well, with the next iOS 5, you can do a wireless mirroring. So you can play games from your iPad on the Apple TV. So I'd be careful about that. Here's the more important question to think about. Apple's making money. If you look at Apple stock over the past... When did Ballmer become CEO of Microsoft?
Several years ago at this point. I don't remember.
In the past several years, compare Apple's stock to Microsoft's. Market share is important. I'm not saying that's not important. And Microsoft's certainly doing a lot of very, very good things, but Apple has overtaken them already. Unless you're talking about, well, I can buy a Windows PC and there's 1 million Windows PCs. That's awesome. That's part of Microsoft's business, is selling Windows licenses. But there's more to the world of Microsoft than just Windows.
Wait, there is?
Yeah.
They have
Xbox.
What's that productivity suite they have?
Office.
Oh, yeah.
They're making money, dude. You'd have to pry Excel out of my dad's cold, dead hands.
Excel is still way better for spreadsheets than like Google Docs. Somebody I saw go by on there said, how do you deal with the haters on YouTube? That's not exactly what they said. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
But how do you deal with the haters? Sometimes they get to them. Suck it up, drink some wine, and...
I'll usually just use their own words against them. Someone said that I was contradicting myself, though. When will Apple overtake Microsoft? I don't know if that was a contradiction.
They have overtaken them in market cap, which is the total value of the company. They have not overtaken them in number of, desktops sold in terms of Mac versus Windows.
And certainly Apple makes...
They make money. But that's not contradictory.
I wouldn't say it's contradictory at all. I think someone has a lack of understanding about how this ecosystem works. And honestly, a lot of people a lot of tech enthusiasts do have an insane amount of bias. We all have bias. But they also lack the understanding that the Windows ecosystem is completely different from Apple altogether. Apple's closer to, in many ways, HP than it is to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Give me a second. I saw... Oh, what is the best way to make your own website for a business?
WordPress.
Kinda.
I mean, any content management system that makes it easy for you to generate pages that are customizable based on a common template.
Are you excited for the PSP Vita? I gotta tell you something. This is from iPod Touch Boy 19.
What is the PSP Vita? I feel...
I guess it's the new PSP. When the PSP first came out, both Jake and I, we loved it.
Yeah.
The fact that it was the closest thing people had to a full portable media player experience.
And you could hack it.
Yeah, although I never did. I've owned every PSP.
Homebrew, that was what they called it then.
They probably still do. It's probably still around. I owned every PSP up until the last one that supported UMDs, and I have a PSP up there. I've never used it. I have all these UMDs. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. I could sell them, but they're worth nothing. They're worth more sitting there on the shelf than they are being sold. So I'm just sitting on them at this point. It just seemed like a complete waste of money. But I love the PSP for everything that it was at the time. A web browser, a game player. You had a camera plugged in that was later on. But it was a full-on movies, and I loved watching movies on it, music. It was a full experience.
It did everything.
Sony had such an amazing chance to make it happen. And if they had better desktop software, and if they had sewn in more of their, content library, I think Sony, and specifically the PSP with its mindshare, could have been a very strong rival against Apple and the iPod. And really, it's less. I mean, the iPod has been a good experience. They certainly did things differently, especially with the click wheel back when it was fresh and it was novel, and it absolutely was in comparison to most other devices. And I had a Creative Zen at that point in time because it had a higher capacity, but I would have traded that higher capacity for better user experience, had I done it again. The bottom line, what made Apple successful with the iPod, beyond being a good consumer electronics device, was the fact that they had iTunes and a conduit for easily acquiring music.
Well, and the other thing is Sony was competing against Nintendo, not Apple at the time.
All right. Apple was, it was a far cry from anything else. You wouldn't have even taken Apple seriously at that point in time. And this is before the iPod was really available for Windows to be compatible with the PC. That was a huge deal when that happened. Chris, sometimes I dislike your videos, but I'm going to be honest. This is the best interaction I've seen. Keep it up. Thank you, the world of Chuk. Unless it's the world of Chuck, in which case I'm sure he's going to go back to hating me.
That's Tech UK, the world of Tech UK, by the way.
Oh. It looks like the world
of something Chuck.
The world of Chuck. Sorry.
He will go back to hating you now.
How do I install WordPress? It's confusing. GoDaddy. I think we have a coupon code Chris, CHRIS.
Chris 1, Chris 2, or Chris 3?
Now I think go.tagjag.com/GoDaddy. Use GoDaddy. One-click install. It's the easiest way. Tech, he even corrected me instead of the Chuck. Now he's going to be known as the Chuck.
The Chuck.
You're the Chuck in the video. I saw you. We should probably be wrapping it up. I don't know if I don't think YouTube really has a limit, but we're certainly winding in.
We're coming up on an hour.
An hour, and that's what it was about last night. I just stopped right shy of an hour, and that worked out quite well. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them now. Of course, you're also welcome to ask the questions in the comment thread, and as we see them, we can address them if they're good questions to address. You can upload your own questions in video format to our questions to answer channel, bockernome.com/upload. You could also upload your brick-related video, including if you want to upload Minecraft-related videos. I say why not throw it into the Brick Tricks channel? Brick Tricks channel.
Minecraft is like virtual bricks.
Yeah, it is. It's really bricky. So I think I would welcome Minecraft videos on the Brick Tricks channel, Lego-related videos, any kind of build-related videos. Feel free to upload them there. Again, lockernome.com/upload. Let's see if we've got any other questions here as I'm scrolling through. Are you still teeth whitening? Apparently they saw the teeth whitening video. No, I'm not. I haven't done that as of late. Hey, Chris, if man came from Adam and Eve, does that make us all a bunch of inbreds?
Yes. Sure, why not?
That's the question. And actually, there's speculation that I think Adam and Eve is a parable. I don't think we all came from Adam and Eve. I don't want to start a religious debate here, but, think about that for just a second. Thoughts on Kinect and Halo? This may be more in your camp. Yes, random, but games are awesome. Isn't Minecraft coming to Xbox?
It would seem unlikely that Minecraft is coming to Xbox, just like it's unlikely that WoW is coming to Xbox.
I don't know. I think the Kinect is awesome. I think Halo is a great franchise. Let's see here. Is the iPhone 3GS still worth it? And that was asked by Animation Creations 42. Yeah, I think so. My girlfriend's still using hers. In fact, she's abused that phone. When we went to the Iowa State Fair, it slid down into a sewer. That luckily it had not rained recently, and it basically dropped onto a pile of leaves, and it was just fine.
That would be a storm drain, not a sewer, technically.
Well, the sewer definitely runs through the storm drain, but that's.
Although, if the question is really, is it worth buying a 3GS versus
get one
buying a 4?
Yeah, but you can get one. You could get one for free yesterday. They were giving
the
AG.
The processing power of the 4 is enough better that.
But if for the price, I think it's worth it.
It depends on your budget.
Chris, what is your email address, please? Really? Apparently, Chuck, I'm going to call him, he's affectionately known as Chuck now. Chris@Perillo.com. Minecraft is coming to that.
How futuristic is your house? I see it looks cool. Do you have a house?
Do I have a house?
Bill and Melinda Gates, yes.
Well, you can find out by renting the house tour video. Still $7. Hey, is the DVD coming up? I gave you the cover art.
There's a convoluted process to get to that.
Oh. How convoluted?
Involving shipping things in the mail and
Oh, we have to actually do the fulfillment?
No. We have to ship them a disc in the mail that I have sitting on my desk that I haven't shipped.
Oh, okay. So we got a DVD coming up. It's available on YouTube now.
That's even for the download version. I can't upload the download.
Oh, the UK version is available. I think the international version is movielocker.com/8108.
For uncensored?
No, that would be UC. How much wine have you had?
No. I mean, but like, sometimes European things.
Oh, no. It'd be international version because YouTube only allows rentals in
with
the
subtitles.
US. Yeah, and everybody who's watched it has enjoyed it. And honestly, people complained. I realize, but how many free videos? How many free videos? 3,640 free videos. And we asked for my birthday if you would want to watch the house tour. If you're really that interested, rent it. Some people were upset, but honestly, I have not seen one negative review of the people who have decided to do the whole walkthrough with us. If you swap minds with your girlfriend, you have sex with yourself. Holy, this guy's he's got more typos. Hang on.
I think he's the guy that asked you about being a professional poker player too.
Oh, was it Slim Jim Jimbo 77?
Yes, that would be the one.
Here's how he typed it out. I'm going to read it as he typed it out. If you swapped minds with your girlfriend, spelled Y-O-U-R-E, girlfriend. Not only was it the wrong use of the word your, he didn't even put an apostrophe in there. With you have... Look, it's not even have. It's have.
I see it.
Sex with yourself, and no period at the end. I can't even answer that question. That's not even a question.
Maybe if
it would have been a question if it was phrased better.
There's
but
no question mark at the end, so it's not a question.
No question mark at the end, so I can't answer that question. Are DVD drives dead? Yes, they just don't know it yet.
We do not need a Minecraft server host.
We don't?
No.
Everyone keeps asking, why don't we need one?
Because we can host it ourselves.
But do we want to host it ourselves?
I would rather host it than have someone else host it, yes.
Okay. That's what Jake says. You heard
Blame me.
Did you notice you can edit the amount of characters remaining? Lol, click on it.
Amount of characters remaining for what?
It's a bit out of context there. Just wish you. Let's see here. Chris, you said, what time is it? I think we're getting close.
At 7.
Yeah, I want to get close to about an hour with this, so this will be the last question.
Probably.
Chris, you said that you want to acquire a new PC. Are you planning to do anything in specific on it? With brand, do you think that will provide you with the best experience at point in time? Says Louis Angelma 90. Louis Angelma?
Louis Angelma 90?
I really can't read your usernames here. Yes, I did say that I want to acquire a new PC.
Sang Elma 90.
It could be too. Sangelma? Louis Lui Sangelma 90. We're just gonna make up new pronunciations for your username here. Yes, I do want to acquire a new PC. What I plan on doing with it? Honestly, I'm always looking for different use cases. Every new computer has a different purpose. I have PCs, I have Macs, and I've been looking for a good PC that has an HD webcam. Honestly. Because I like doing HD videos.
If you find one, let me know, because I haven't found a built-in webcam that's any good.
It's just as easy to click a button on a computer and have HD start recording. I have one, the FaceTime webcam works very, very well on new Macs, but you just have to have a lot of light. And I think that's its shortcoming, is that you need an insane amount of light. That's what prompted even getting new lighting here in the home office. Was specifically so that I could record HD videos easier.
But at least the Mac webcams look nice.
Yeah, no, they look great.
But
I just wish I had more lights.
I haven't found one on any PC that looks nice.
I think I need more light in here. I mean, more light to be able to facilitate a higher frame rate on that the FaceTime HD video. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up the second series of questions and answers as done on YouTube. We'll certainly be doing this again. The first one we did seemed to generate close to about 500 comments.
You should close with an answer to who are the best tech people to follow on Twitter. Which are, of course, at Chris Perillo.
Honestly, I find more tech people to follow on Google+.
I do too.
So follow me there. Follow us there. The content that's being shared, it's far more engaging than it is on Twitter. I'm just going to say it. I think I'm having far more fun on Google Plus than I ever did on Twitter, than I ever did on Facebook, than I certainly ever did on MySpace. So again, we will do this again. I don't know if it's going to become regular, or I don't know how regular it's going to be. I'd like to shoot for a regular time, though, maybe every night around the same marker, and I'll tease it out, of course, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, etc. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Locker Dome newsletter. We have one full of tech information that we're publishing every single day. Head over to lockerdome.com. There's a link in the sidebar. There's also, you put in your email address there. There's also chris.perlo.com. It's got the address for you to sign, or the field for you to sign up with your email address. Subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll definitely keep you posted on things. What do you think about the YouTube live stuff? I'm not going to stop doing live video on Ustream at all. I mean, not only do I sit on Ustream advisory board, but I love having that running 24/7. I'm not going to do YouTube 24/7 because honestly, I think YouTube is for a different kind of content.
Will YouTube let you do 24/7?
I think we could just keep doing this.
Really, we
until
can
we
stay
stopped.
here. We can stay here until we
Yes,
collapse?
until we stopped. I've seen hours and hours and hours, depending on if your account can handle more than 15 minutes of a video upload. But since I'm a partner, then I'm able to do, or I guess we're partner, then we can do longer uploads. Trying to keep these to an hour long. At some point in the future, if we have a topic worth discussing, it may be an hour long topic just on that subject matter. At this point in time, it's general Q&A. Hope everybody has enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to do more. If you couldn't see this one and you stayed tuned to this point in time, comment, rate, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. I'd like to see the reaction from the community to know whether or not this is worth doing again. Sometimes solo, sometimes with friends, possibly even through a Google Hangout and tying that in to keep that conversation going. I'm interested in exploring the opportunities, and let me make sure I'm doing this perfectly. Because I got to click.
Because you got to stop.
Yeah, because you actually have to hit stop broadcasting.